Hello and welcome. Greetings to the comprehensive course on polity and constitution. At the outset, I'd like to begin by thanking all of you for choosing to study with me. Now, this course is for all of you who have taken either the comprehensive course on polity, governance, social issues, IR, the entire paper 2, or for those of you who have specifically taken only the sub-module on polity and constitution. Today is the lecture 0, which means this is the foundational lecture, perhaps the most important lecture. It is often said that efficient planning is half the battle won. It makes all the more sense in an exam like the civil services to plan as acutely and as precisely as possible. Largely because when we look at a subject like polity and constitution, literally everything under the sun seems to have an implication on this subject area. But the UPSC has been kind enough to give us a circumference of sorts. That circumference is what is called a syllabus. Now, I must admit right at the very beginning of our lecture that the syllabus so designed by the UPSC is not the most well designed syllabus, which means we will have to restructure the syllabus, we will have to rearrange the syllabus in an ascending order of learning so that you are able to understand the true essence of polity and constitution or constitution and polity. So this lecture, perhaps the most important one, will walk you through what exactly is the syllabus and how is the syllabus going to be delivered to you between the 19th of September to the 6th of November. Now you must understand this, though the lectures are going to be uploaded on a specific date at a specific time, they will always be with you for 3 years and they will always constantly be updated periodically. So it doesn't matter when you start watching the course, whichever time period it is that you start watching the course in. Suppose you wake up 6 months later and say, I need to study this. Then also you will have the most updated lectures available to you, which is why it had to be a balance between live versus recorded. Now, what are we going to do today? See, the UPSC changed its pattern in 2013, which is when GS paper 2 was introduced. It has almost been 10 years since the pattern has changed, which also means as time passes, even the UPSC evolves. It is also a learning exercise for the conducting authority. So the kind of questions that are being asked today versus the kind of questions that were being asked in 2013, 14, 15, they have also changed. So we have to keep that in mind. We have to be completely abreast with the changing nature of the exam. And contrary to popular belief, and I can say this with absolute certainty, paper 2 is one of the easiest papers to predict in our entire civil services journey. Whether it is the prelims or the mains, it is very easy for us to draw a circumference, a boundary, and only study what is absolutely essential as far as the exam is concerned. So let's begin. Our story starts and ends with the syllabus because the syllabus happens to be our Bible, right? So once you've understood the overall assessment, let's look at the syllabus. As far as your prelims is concerned, this is what your syllabus says. It says Indian Polity and Constitution. Now what I've done is I have given the code name P to prelims topics. So you've got polity, you've got constitution, you've got the political system, panchayati raj, public policy and rights issues. Now this is nothing but P1, P2, P3 and P4 respectively. Similarly P5 and P6. The difference here is syllabus P5 and P6, which is public policy, it is common to not only polity or constitution, it also has sort of overlap with governance and social justice. So we'll cover accordingly. Similarly, rights issues. Now, rights violations are essentially an instrument of legal rights, but the larger socio-economic implications of rights violence or rights issues or rights violation can also be an instrument of governance and social justice. So this becomes the backbone for your prelims syllabus. It is not the most well structured syllabus and we understand that. Over and above this, the backbone on the underlying theme here is current issues of national and international importance, which automatically gets applied to each of these issues, to each of these syllabus parts. Now, if we had to study polity on the basis of the prelim syllabus, we would be in a bit of a fix because it is not very clearly arranged, it is not very logically ascending, and also at the same time it does not give us very clear indications of what needs to be studied and what doesn't. Which is why when we study polity for the prelims, there is a very, very high emphasis on previous year questions, and we are going to keep the reference of the last 10 years of previous year questions, and that is more than enough to take care of the kind of questions that are asked and to understand a broad pattern, right? So every topic that we cover, we'll take an analysis of PYQs, we'll do a few PYQs, and of course we'll get ahead. But largely this is your prelim syllabus, code P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, P6. Even if it is very vaguely arranged, it is very important for you to, if not remember it, but be extremely familiar with it, because this helps you shoot down things in the newspaper which are not relevant. Unless you don't know what the syllabus is, you will never be able to figure out whether X piece of news in the paper is important or not. This also becomes sort of far more important when we look at the mains syllabus. So this is how the prelim syllabus is. We understand that we can't structure it very well. So let's look at the main syllabus and see if we can structure our study of polity and constitution with the main syllabus at the background, and if we are covering the mains, does the prelims portion automatically get covered? And the answer to that question is yes. Very simply put, whatever is in the mains syllabus of polity and constitution is also in the pre-syllabus. But whatever is in the pre-syllabus is not necessarily in the main syllabus. So the main syllabus becomes a larger subset, it becomes a larger umbrella on the basis of which we are going to be delivering our polity lectures. Which therefore means, let us look at what the main syllabus is and let's understand how are we going to arrange it and study it. Remember, throughout the syllabus, the UPSC categorically mentions polity and constitution to be two separate entities, and they actually are. So when we study our formative lectures, we will understand the difference also between Indian polity and Indian constitution. So let's move.